Welcome to a demonstration on the new features in Trimble Business Center version 3.90. In this demonstration, we're going to go over the cadastral workflow using Create Kogo and the new legal description writer in TBC. Typically, in the cadastral workflow, focusing on the North American area, a land surveyor will start with a survey plan or deed similar to this one here. And on this survey plan, there's various information such as the property information, who owns it, the deed number, the acreage, as well as legend for the survey information such as the type of monuments and what the different abbreviations mean, as well as north arrow, scale bar, and other typical title block information. In this case, we're going to focus on Parcel A here, highlighted in blue. The surveyor will pull this plan from record, trace out the information that the last surveyor or the most recent survey plan states for this parcel, and will then perform a lot closure report, take this data to the field, physically survey the monuments, perform any calculations necessary, and will generate a legal description for that parcel. So to start this procedure, first we find the point of commencement, or the POC. You can see that here highlighted in the blue circle. The point of commencement is the object or the point from which all other survey boundaries and properties on this particular plan are referenced to. So when a surveyor retraces any property on this survey plan, they first start with the point of commencement to establish a known reference or bearing to use in reference for the parcels that they are surveying. In this case, we can see it is a 1-inch iron pin that was found undisturbed. Next, we use the basis of bearing that's stated on this plan as being 88 degrees, 58 minutes, and 07 seconds at a northeast bearing, the POC along the center of the road marks on Steeles Corners Road. To do this in TBC, first we'll open up the Create Kogo command, which is under the Survey tab, under the Kogo group. We will create a new Kogo collection. I can call this Parcel A. I can put this on a specific layer if I'd like. If I hit spacebar, it'll open the layer manager. I can call this layer my Kogo layer, and I'll change the layer color. Okay. There's several options here. In this case, I'm going to use ground distances, which is what's specified on the plan with a scale factor of 1. And no rotation, and I'll press create, and this has created a new Kogo collection called Parcel A. Now I'll switch to the Kogo tab where I can enter my point of commencement or my starting point. So I'll use the start command for start coordinate, or SC, and I can specify a coordinate value in the text editor. I will use the typical 5,000 and use this as my starting point. Once I hit enter, it'll use that starting point as my project center. I'll press OK, and now I can see that 0.001 was created. I'll change the background. I'll change the background to white so we can see that easier. Next, now we'll trace out the first line from the point of commencement on towards Parcel A. And this line here is along the center of the road at 70.97 feet at a bearing of 88 degrees, 58 minutes, 07 seconds northeast. So in TBC, we can do this by either typing in the LB for line by azimuth command, which will automatically bring up the line by azimuth entry point here, or I can type in the text editor LB and continue to type my bearing. One key feature with TBC is when using azimuths and bearings, to convert from a bearing value to an azimuth value, simply enter the quadrant of the bearing first. So in this case, we're going to proceed into a southwest direction, which is the third quadrant. And now I'll type bearing, so 88 degrees, 58 minutes, and 7 seconds. Comma, and then put in the distance. In this case, it was 70.97. Now if I zoom extents, you see I'll have a line created. First line has been generated. Next, we have to jump from the center of the road to the first parcel, Parcel B. So this is a 90-degree turn, so essentially an offset from that center line of road at 30 feet. In TBC, we can use the line by left 90-degree angle to turn 90 degrees and produce a distance from the last point, which is the LL command. This requires only a length value, so I'll type in 30 feet, press enter, and now we have our next value. The next line is to trace along the north border of parcel B at 245.18 feet to the point of beginning or POB of parcel A. Vice versa, I can use the line by right angle to do a similar command as previous. In this case, it was 245.18 feet, and this will create a line at that distance and bearing. The reason I was able to do this is because this parcel line here is parallel to the center of the road, so holds the same bearing. Now we've reached the point of beginning for parcel A. As you can see, POB stated here at the northeast corner of the lot. Now we can trace out the 4 boundaries of this parcel. We'll start with first the north boundary at 165 feet along the same bearing as the previous line segment. To do this in TBC, you can simply type LX for line extend command. So this will take the previous line's bearing and apply that to this line. All the user has to do is specify a distance. So in this case, it was 165 feet. And press enter, and a new line is created. The next line that will specify is for the west boundary of the parcel. This line is at a bearing of 1 degree, 1 minute, 53 seconds in the northwest direction. So in our case, it'll be in the southeast as we're going down, and it's at 186 feet in length. So I'll use the line by bearing command to specify the bearing, which was going in the southeast direction, which is the second quadrant, and 1 degree, 1 minute, 53 seconds at 186 feet. And a new line was created. Next, we'll create the south boundary line. Using the line by bearing command, we can do this again. We'll specify the northeast as the bearing going in at 89 degrees, 48 minutes, 50 seconds at 165 feet. Finally, the last boundary line on the east side, we will create in TBC. Once again, the line by bearing command is perfect for this. The fourth quadrant is where the bearing is located at 1 degree, 1 minute, 33 seconds at 188.44 feet. Now we've entered all of our line work to generate the parcel A from the plan. And you can see if I zoom into this corner here, there'll be a small difference between the starting and the ending point for parcel 8. This is what we're looking for when we generate a lot misclosure report. Now that we have all the line work keyed in for the parcel, we can now generate the lot closure report, or the map check is what we call it in TBC. To do this in TBC, go to the map check tab in the create Kogo command. You can specify a layer for your parcel. In this case, I'll have a parcels layer. Specify a maximum misclosure. In this case, I have 3 feet here. Any parcels with a misclosure greater than 3 feet will not be created. And then click Create Parcels. This generates a parcel object based on the line work from the Create Kogo collection. I can select parcel 1, view the properties. In the properties, I can see the precision ratio as well as the total misclosure and where that misclosure was located. As well, I can generate the map check report. Here's the map check report that was generated. You can view things like the total length of the parcel, so the perimeter, the misclosure, the precision ratio, scale factor, as well as tables that show the specific line segments and arcs that make up the parcel. As well, on the second page, there is a layout view of that specific parcel with a scale bar and grid axes. You can also export this out as an Excel, PDF, or Word document. You can also use the Create Kogo command to rename the parcel. So in this case, our parcel was called Parcel A. As well, we can give it a description. So if I had information like the township, let's say township 44, or the range 20, any of that type of information can be put in here. And I can specify maybe a subdivision 15. And this will now be associated to the parcel when I click on it. So click the parcels in order. I select this and then select the parcel, and it renames it, adds the description as well as the label. Now that we've generated our lot closure report, our line work, we can go on to the legal description writer. You can access that here under the survey tab. As well, in the create Kogo command, there's a short link to it as well. Here, what the legal description writer allows users to do is select a point of commencement, in this case the starting point, select the path from the point of commencement to the parcel, and then as well select the parcel for which the legal description will be generated for. This template file here allows users to create their own templates that have unique legal description styles based on their county, their location, and other information. So these types of legal descriptions can vary depending the state, the county, or even who you're providing the legal description to. So you can create your own templates and use them in TBC here. Users that install TBC version 3.90 and later will get a default template file installed with that. See, I only have one right now. I can also browse to find other ones. In this case, I'll use the default. So now I've selected my template file. First thing is to select my point of commencement. In this case, I wanted to start with P001, so I can select here, and that will show a red triangle for where the point of commencement is located. Next, I select the path that I want to go from my point of commencement to my point of beginning at my parcel. So in this case, I want to go along these lines here. It looks like I'll clear this selection and then select these lines. That gets me my line to the point of beginning, and you see there's a red highlight to give the user feedback on where the path will be. And then finally, I select my parcel for where I want. And finally, I select my parcel for what I want a legal description written for. So I'll select parcel A. And now we have a button that says Show Calculated Path. If you click and hold this down, what it will do is show if there's any issues with the current selection for the starting point, the path, and the parcels. So as I hold this down, notice it highlights the parcel in red, and there's no issues that show up. If there is an issue, it will show a bright purple circle. As well, we show a gap tolerance. What the gap tolerance does is allows users to skip any misclosure areas, so the misclosure will not generate a legal description value for it. It will ignore that small misclosure if it's within a specified user tolerance. As well, I can specify the parcel direction, so in this case, clockwise, counterclockwise. I want to go from the point of beginning counterclockwise around this parcel, so I'll select counterclockwise. And then the next part, which is a really key feature of the legal description writer, is the edit preview. So this is where you can edit your existing template and create new templates. In here is various options for changing the formats for distances, angles, areas, as well as the specific phraseology for different types of lines, arcs, directions, and other information. If I start with the description template, I can specify a gap tolerance. Let's say we want to specify 1 foot. Linear distance format, so I can specify how my distances are formatted in the legal description. For my decimal precision, maybe I only want 1 decimal place. And at the bottom we have an example, and this is a dynamic example, so as I change the format, this will update. So in this case, if I change the decimal precision, notice that that changes below as well. I can change the units as well. This is where I can change the actual text. And if I didn't want to specify feet with the whole word, I could erase this and just put FT, and that would change here as well. On the right hand side, you can see keywords. These insert the keywords which are noted in the brackets. So in this case, we have a keyword of length. So when the legal description is generated, it will replace the keyword with that value. So in this case, it would be the length of the line segment. If I want to insert a keyword, I click the button and it'll insert a new keyword, and it'll show that in the updated example below. In this case, I don't want that, so I will erase it. If I continue on, I can see there's similar windows for each of the other values, such as directions and angles and area. So I can change those from angular units. I could change to degree minutes if I didn't want to have degree minute seconds, as well as the direction format for bearings. I can view the angular areas as well. I can specify how the areas are stated. and approximate directions for northeasterly, northwest, and next we move on to the phraseology. Here's an example of what the legal description would look like. I can use this test mode to see if the legal description will be created correctly. So if I select start at line at point of commencement, it will give me an idea of what all the phraseology and all the formatting that I've specified will look like for the parcel. Next, I can move on to all the different phrases. So we can have a different header style. So in this case, I have the legal description, and then I have keywords for the parcel name and the parcel description. Let's say I want to change this to legal description for Commerce Properties LLC. And that updates as well in the dynamic window below. There's also various options for the phraseology for point of commencement and point of beginning. In this case, notice at the bottom right there is an image window. If I hover over this, it will enlarge the image to show an example of what start line at point of commencement is. So in this case, it's a single line segment from the point of commencement to the parcel or on the path. If I move off that, it shrinks back to the regular size. This is similar if I go to the start arc at point of commencement. And see, now I can view point of commencement is starting on an arc. I can move down all the phraseology and change for different items such as an arc to tangent line, new arc direction, small. I can also view in the window what that example may look like. Once all the phraseology is set up, you can go to the preview tab here, and this will give you the exact preview of what your legal description will look like when you generate it for the selected starting point, path, and parcels. So I have my header that was changed to legal description, Commerce Properties LLC, the parcel A, the information for the parcel description, and then commencing at the point of commencement, and the lines that make up the parcel to the point of beginning, and everything else that finishes off, as well as finishing with the area. I can edit any of the text in this window. I can enable the debugging mode, which allows users to see where the keywords are located inside of the legal description. If I'm happy with this, I can go back to the Edit tab. I can save this as a new template if I hit the Save As button. So this opens up the browser to where our default legal description template is located. So I can create a new template. Let's say I want to call this one Legal Description Writer Example, and then I'll hit Save, and it's just warning you that you're saving in a location that doesn't have permissions. So I can save it onto my desktop and press OK. And now we're using my new template file. So I've previewed it, I'm good with my legal description. Now to generate it, I have three formats for which I can use: a text file description, which can be opened up in any WordPad or Notepad file, an RTF file, which is a rich text format, which can be opened up in Microsoft Word, as well as an RTF file with page breaks. This is very useful if you're generating multiple parcel legal descriptions at once. So I could select several parcels and create an RTF file that would put each parcel legal description on a single page. In this case, I'll just use the RTF file. I'll specify where I want to save it. We can save it on the desktop. And then press apply. This will open up the legal description in Microsoft Word. It'll ask you if you want to open this as an RTF. I'll say OK. And there's my legal description in Microsoft Word. And I can take this text and put it into any formatting or any type of document format I have for Word. This concludes a demonstration on the new cadastral workflow in Trimble Business Center, showing off the Create Kogo as well as the new legal description writer feature.